Well, joining us now is a geologist and former head of exploration and research at the NNPC, Professor Charles Ofoegbu. Thank you so much for joining us on News Night tonight. Well, with the Port Harcourt Refinery 210,000 capacity, we're told. I mean, this does sound like Christmas present to Nigerians, just that we won't get any productions until after the Christmas. But what does this mean, for the whole, fuel situation and what have you in Nigeria?
Well, let me just correct that I was actually head of exploration research.
Head of exploration research. Okay.
Yeah, at NNPC.
Thank you very much. Thanks for clarifying that.
Yes. Well, it's good news that the Port Harcourt Refinery is coming on stream. The mechanical aspects of the project, the flaring has commenced, has been and put in place. Remember the last time I was there, I did mention the issue of the refining capacity, that if these refineries are not brought back, then we'll see the price of refined products going up and up, because we just depend on import, NNPC importing and so on. That we cannot do that. But I'm happy that that is now happening. What we still have not been told is what capacity would that be? Will it be producing at 100% capacity? Because with the amount of money we've put in and the length of time it's been moribund, a little over 10 years, and then 1.5 or 1 point something billion dollar. When we talk about 1 point something billion dollar, we're talking about real money. It's a lot of money. In fact, in real terms, that amount can even put up a refinery maybe of a smaller capacity. So we need to also be told when it comes on stream in January, when it starts producing in January, mind you, the refinery, yes, some aspects of it has been completed, not that it has been fully completed. It's substantially set to commence production, to receive crude. But what we want to know is, will it then be another 30% capacity, or another 60% capacity, or 100% capacity, which is what Nigerians want to hear. Because, and then what impact would that have on the price of the product? The common man is speaking on the price of food, the price of transportation, the price of so many things. Because at the moment, people are still buying fuel as close to 700 naira, if not more, a liter.
Professor, we just brought it home. What will this mean to the everyday Nigerian is very important.
Yes.
Because, and it's another good thing you're breaking it down to basics. Let's first for benefit of hindsight, give us an idea of what it was like before, when we had at least the Port Harcourt Refinery. Perhaps that can give us a sense of what Nigeria may start to benefit when it comes on full stream.
Yes. Before?
Yes.
Before now, the refinery was not on. It was all about subsidy.
No, I'm talking about while it was on.
When it was on.
When it was on.
Yes.
When it was on, that refinery had never produced at full capacity.
Not even when it was new, brand new.
Maybe when it was brand new, I don't know. It's doubtful if a refinery has ever, if any of the refineries, Kaduna, Port Harcourt 1 and 2, have ever produced at full capacity. Even then, the amount of money we spent on turnarounds. The last time I was here, if you remember, I did mention that when you try to do turnaround and you get carpenters, do you play the role of a tailor? Some people don't even know what the meaning of refining. All kinds of things are put together, and people are given contract to do turnaround maintenance. Every minute you're turning around, you're maintaining, and then it never ends. Now, for once, let's give them credit.
Right.
They told us in 2 years the refinery will be on course. It will come on course. It will work. We'll give them that credit, and let's now allow and see what happens. We'll place the cart before the horse.
Oh, the horse
before the cart.
Right.
Or rather the horse before. No.
It should be the horse before the cart.
Then initially we did place the cart before the horse. And that was why when we removed, I said it when I came in here to discuss the subsidy removal. We said, why don't we give ourselves another 1 year and see what becomes of the refineries? Get these refineries working. That's the only time you can get a full picture of what the people supply in the country would be. Now you can see, we're talking about stability. We'll stabilize it. Not that we're going to reduce. Nobody has said the price will drop, but it will become stable. Is it stable at the current 680 or 700 liters a barrel? Or will it go lower? Or will it go lower? We want to hear, Nigerians want to hear that with this refinery coming on board, it will go lower.
Well, some experts have been predicting that fuel price will fall, predicated on this refinery,
refining capacity, refining ability in the country.
But with this happening now, barely 7 months after the, into the life of this administration, 7 months. Since 1999, we've been hearing about, turnaround maintenance and all of that. Over 11 trillion has been spent in 13 years, based on, what experts have come up with in terms of figures, which means it is actually possible. Now we're seeing that Port Harcourt is possible.
Yes.
What questions should we begin to ask as to why our refineries since 1999 have not lived up to capacity?
The question we should begin to ask are, it's never too late to call those who were involved in the decisions taken regarding the so-called, I call it so-called turnaround maintenance, because at times this is set up. We need to turn around this the refinery. Occasionally, rather than turning it around, we turn it upside down. And then the refineries never get back on course. So we need to begin to ask serious questions. How come suddenly we're able to do it? We give kudos to the government for being able to manage this time within a few months. I agree they started the exercise less than, but then you can see we can do it. It's because we never wanted to do it, or because the way the exercise is carried out, it was beginning to, this turning around of refineries was beginning to be seen as what you use political patronage.
Let
me call a spade a spade.
The soundbite here from you, Professor Ofoegbu, is that we can do it.
Yes.
Because I recall then you had actually advocated asking the government to have tarried a bit and wait for the refinery to come on stream before, talking about subsidy removal. Now that we know we can do it, what's the future like in oil and gas for Nigeria?
The future has now become bright, because if we get the Warri refinery also working, just like the Port Harcourt refinery, increase the number of modular refineries. Right. 2 already have received crude in Edo State. 2.
The modular refineries?
Yes, 2 modular refineries in Edo that were financed by Edo State government have received crude. A state like Anambra State has become oil producing. They're also gas producing. And there's no reason why the state should also not begin to invest in a modular refinery. Must not all be only federal. And begin to seek finance. Federal government can guarantee the finance because we know what is going to be used. It's no longer going to be one of those facilities that are taken and used for anything we want. This time we know it's for food. And then by the time we have the crude, you have the raw materials. All you need now is to put in place this modular refinery, put one down, put in Abia, put here, and the price of this crude, I'll tell you, I can assure you that the price of refined petroleum product, which people we use with this, so petrol as we call it, should drop to about 450, 500 naira. If we enhance if not lower, if we enhance the capacity, our refining capacity.
So how do we ensure that now that Port Harcourt refinery is about to get on stream, that we don't go back to the old ways, where all of a sudden we hear Port Harcourt refinery is no longer, functional, in spite of the fact that about 127 billion naira continues to be spent on salaries, wages, and what have you on all the refineries. How do we ensure that it's progress going forward? Management.
Put it in place, the right management. Square pegs in square, I don't know how to put it. So put it in place, the right management. I'm happy NNPC is now a private, is no longer a government agency where people are employed, thrown in or thrown out at will. Now is to ask questions. Every penny spent on this, NNPC is supposed to, the government release some money to them to carry out this maintenance of the refinery. It must be operated at maximum cost to return that money back to the taxpayer where it was gotten from. And then we should run it properly, know when to maintain it, not wait until it breaks down completely. Then you shut the gates and say you're going now to maintain, which was what was going on before. Some minor problem might arise. Rather than solve that problem and keep the vehicle moving on, you allow it until the engine totally cracks and knocks, and then you park it for about 6 years, and then you come back again and tell us, we're going to do this. And then we also need to regulate the cycle of turnarounds. Because in Nigeria, refinery I don't know the principle, I don't know the argument, I don't even know the rationale behind it. Some of the turnarounds, people begin to say, okay, this much, we need to turn this around. I think some money has to be brought out for it. Some hundreds of millions of dollars have to be brought out. And then we need to even know who are the ones, which companies are doing the turnaround, which is their background, what's the history,
yes.
Their pedigree, what experience do they have?
I certainly think that Professor Ofoegbu, we must say on this, it's an exciting time for us, and I'm excited that you're here, you know, asking all the questions, and we need to hear from the government to also provide answers to all of this. Professor Charles Ofoegbu, it's a delight as always to have you on the show.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.